4 steps to master any field in 2024. If anyone asks me what the happiest feeling I've ever had is, my answer will be when I go from a stranger to a field, to know a little bit about it. The feeling of having a field that belongs to me, and with it I can contribute to society, is a happiness that I cannot describe in words. But finding such a field is not easy, and finding is one thing. Becoming proficient and mastering this field is another. Fortunately, to help us solve this puzzle, author Robert Greene wrote the book Mastery. Mastery is gleaned from the essence of the author's own life, and many other geniuses such as Leonardo da Vinci, Albert Einstein, Benjamin Franklin, or Mozart. In the book, the author has summarized 4 steps that we need to go through to master any field. 4 steps are: 1. Explore your natural inclinations. Find the field you want to master. 2. Apprenticeship. Learn the basic rules and knowledge about the field you are pursuing. 3. Creativity. Proactive. At this stage, we can start creating our own works, thanks to the knowledge learned in the apprenticeship stage. 4. Mastery. At this point, we have been able to understand the field thoroughly. From there to create beyond the framework of ordinary rules. 1. Explore your natural inclinations. In the book Mastery, Robert Greene argues that we all have a natural calling within us, a driving force that motivates us to do what is right for ourselves. It has appeared in childhood, when we are fascinated by a certain force that we cannot describe. It is the moment when Einstein was attracted by the physical force acting on the compass, or Leonardo da Vinci was attracted by the beauty of nature to the point of stealing paper from his father to sketch. In fact, the word vocation, profession, in English originally comes from vocare, a Latin word meaning to call or to be called. Perhaps the cycle of society has turned vocation into something strange that we have to struggle to find. To find a true vocation, we need to turn to ourselves. What excited you in childhood? Although the book does not mention it, I would like to point out one thing to you all. We do not necessarily have to be attached to a specific job because it will limit our choices. There are some fields such as artificial intelligence or social media management that did not exist when we were born. So how can we say that we are born for it? A more comprehensive approach is to only look for things that are essential. For example, if we like to read poems when we were young, this does not mean that we will become poets when we grow up, but simply that we like the rhythm of language. And if we think broadly like that, then we can do other jobs such as rapper or linguist in general, instead of just thinking that we can be a poet. Changing our thinking like this will make us much more free in choosing a career. 2. Apprenticeship. 2.1 3 steps in the apprenticeship stage. In this stage, the author divides it into 3 small steps. Step 1. Deep observation, passive mode. At the beginning of the apprenticeship stage, we need to pay attention to observing the rules in our field very carefully. In addition to paying attention to the surface things, basic knowledge, work processes, etc., we also need to pay attention to the bottom of the iceberg. Any field also has unspoken rules that only insiders know. Learning about these things will help us go far and faster. Step 2. Acquire skills, practice mode. After having a basic concept of what we need to do, our job is simply to do it as much as possible until we master this skill. This sounds very simple, but in reality, it is very difficult. It is rare for anyone to be patient enough to spend 10,000 hours in a field and do a repetitive task for years on end. However, I also want to add that if we practice a level of skill too much, without upgrading the difficulty of the challenge, we will always stay in place. We cannot master the guitar if we practice the same chord every day. The process of mastering requires us to constantly step out of our comfort zone. Step 3. Experimentation, active mode. In the early stages of our career, we should approach it from a trial and error perspective. At this time, failure is acceptable. Even, you should be glad that you fail, because if you are always successful, it is likely that you have not progressed in your work. The famous inventor Edison once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." You must experiment a lot to know where you are strong and weak. From there to develop comprehensively. You have to experiment a lot to know where you are strong and weak, and then develop comprehensively, in addition to the 3 steps above. Robert Greene also mentioned two other equally important aspects of the internship process: finding a mentor and developing social intelligence. 2.2. Finding a mentor. We can still be successful even without a mentor. But if we have someone to teach us, we will be successful 10 times faster. To have a mentor, we need to show them that this is a two-way relationship. If they teach us, they will also get some benefits: money, fame, free labor, etc. We cannot force someone to spend their precious time teaching us without getting anything back. 2.3. Social intelligence. Often the reason why many brilliant people cannot succeed is because they encounter a lot of obstacles and competition from others. So if we learn how to win people over, turn enemies into friends, then we will have more energy to focus on what we like more. One thing that the author emphasizes in the book is to pay attention to the nonverbal cue of the other person. Instead of their words, language can be completely distorted, but the body is very difficult to fake. You can completely find out about the common nonverbal cues today with just 5 seconds of entering Google. 3. Creativity and initiative. We have to continually be jumping off cliffs and developing our wings on the way down. Kurt Vonnegut. After gaining knowledge and experience in our field, if we do not dare to use it to create our own path but only follow the path laid out by others, we will never be able to reach the state of mastery. Throughout the book, Robert Greene advises us not to just explore one field, but to expand our understanding through many different industries. Because breakthroughs in one field often come from combining knowledge from other fields. A typical example is the air cushion in Nike shoes, which was inspired by a technology from the aerospace industry of NASA. The specialization of fields only comes from the subjective measure of humans, but in reality, all knowledge in the world is closely related to each other. That's why in the past, a physicist often also included many other fields such as mathematics and astrology. Another thing to remember in this step is not to let our ideas stay in our heads. Let it out into the real world through writing, models, drawings, or at least discussing with others. In this way, we will know if our idea is really feasible or not. It's better to waste time trying and failing than to keep regret for a lifetime. This may be the reason why the cemetery is considered the most expensive land in the world, because it is buried with dreams that will never come true. 4. Mastery. Mastery does not come from natural talent or talent. It is the result of a combination of time and maximum focus dedicated to a specific field. Robert Greene. By now, the path to mastery has gradually become clear to you. I believe that we basically all know the method to reach the state of mastery in life. Choose a field and be willing to spend time thinking about it every day for a period of about 10 years. And this is how the master becomes different from the crowd. In addition, Robert Greene describes the state of mastery as a state when intuition and reason merge into one. In this state, we gradually lose our sense of time, not paying attention to the environment around us. I find this state to be quite similar to the flow state popularized by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. However, the difference is that flow does not need a long time to achieve as much as the state of mastery, but you can fully achieve it in your daily life if your task ensures the following 3 factors: a clear output target, feedback for the work we do, a balance between our skills and the difficulty of the challenge. Conclusion. If you are not willing to be a fool, you can't become a master. Jordan Peterson. Actually, I don't like to use the word mastery if it implies that we have completely mastered the skills in a particular field. Instead, I see the world as a river in which not a single drop of water flows twice in the same place. For me, true mastery is when we have a solid foundation of knowledge to appreciate the beauty of the world, but also humble enough to realize that our knowledge can become outdated at any time. In the face of the infinite flow of the universe,